Right, so today's assignment is, let me share my screen. Is my screen visible? Ashwati, if you're there, you can tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Right, so today's assignment is related to the memory module, because as you have seen that we have progressed slowly from arithmetic units. Then we did, of course, we did the ALU, we did Mux design, then we did counters, flip-flop design, then we did finite state machine synthesis, then algorithmic state machine in the last class. So with that, I think the whole background is now covered. So I'm not going to demonstrate any Verilog today using the Xilinx, because almost all the constructs are done, and remaining you can self-learn. So today's assignment, I'm just going to explain, and then you have to do it on your own, because all the concepts we have already covered in the previous assignments. Okay, so now from this week on, we are moving towards doing bigger designs, eventually a processor or part of kind of a processor design. So today is only a memory module, which is like the main memory or the RAM, which you have in your computers, and then you're going to read that memory when you execute a program. So executable is loaded in RAM, and then using the program counter, you read one location at a time, then you have to decode, execute. So right, so that's how the processor works. So we are not doing that right now. We are only going to model a memory module and be able to read and write to the memory. So that's the only task for today. Okay. So I'm giving you a picture of how a memory would look like. So we have SRAM as the static random access memory module as our first design, and this SRAM module, then we will enable or create a wrapper around this module which will help in reading and writing to it. Right. So if you look up any literature, your SRAM is nothing but a collection of cells, and it has got an address bus and a data bus. So if I say I have an address bus which is n bit wide, and then the data bus is bidirectional because the data comes inside and goes out. Okay. Now data bus. Then given this, what do we conclude? That I have, how many locations do I have? I have 2 to the n locations in this, and each location is m bit wide. Got it? So that's how my RAM looks like. Now, apart from the address and data bus, whenever these RAM modules come in variety of chips, right? So we do not enable, every chip is not always available or turned on to provide the data. So there has to be a chip select, because that's how the banking structure or a bank level design is possible. So there is a control signal called the chip select, CS. And this chip select is normally active low. Okay, so I'm putting a bubble here. We redraw it. So there is a bubble kept at this port to show that this is an active low signal. So that's the chip select. So whenever this signal is low, the chip is enabled. When it is high, the chip is disabled. Okay, so beyond enabling the chip, once you've done that, you have to tell whether you're going to read to the RAM or write, right? So reading and writing can be done one thing at a time, because the data bus is bidirectional. Either you can send data inside or bring data out. You cannot do both. Right. So for that, I need a signal for readings, which is called output enable. Again, this is an active low signal, OE bar. output enable. When this signal is enabled, you can read the RAM. And similarly, there is a write enable signal. Clear? Even this is active low. So all these signals are active low, and that's my RAM module. Okay, so if we quickly want to draw a truth table for this, there are signals are CS bar, OE bar, write enable bar, and then what happens? Okay, so if CS bar is high, then these are don't care because the chip is disabled. If CS bar is low, then anything else can happen, right? So if CS bar is low and both of these are high, then only the chip is enabled, but there is no output, right? So here I would say the first one is chip is disabled. In the second one, I would say that the output is disabled because I'm not allowing the output to go out. So reading is not possible, writing is also not possible. And output being disabled and chip being disabled, what should be there on the data bus? So the data bus will be in high impedance state. Right? It will be all Zs, which is the high impedance because that wire has got no signal. Let's go to the next option. This is low. Then output is enabled and this is high. So this is a read operation. And for write operation, we would need chip enabled, write enable should be activated, and then this is left as a don't care because we do not take that.
Ma'am.
Okay, sorry for the interruption. There was some official call which I had to take. Okay, so this is the truth table. And yeah, so that's all with the explanation of this RAM module. Okay, so you have to write the Verilog code for this module, and the truth table I have already shown you. This is how it works. Okay, then the next part of this is to use this module. Right. Any doubts so far? Ashwati, I'm enabled, I'm audible and everything is clear?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will try to read and write to this module. Objective is that there is the RAM. You already know all the signals for this. And every time, if you are aware, the RAM is driven by a memory controller because the RAM, if it is synchronous, it works at a different clock. If it is not clocked, then it is an asynchronous RAM. So in our design, I am using an asynchronous RAM. There is no clock signal here. All these controls, they will do the reading and writing and whatever. Okay. So the controllers has to manage this non-clocked component for its clocked counterparts. And in the processor, we normally have registers where the data comes in and goes out from. So which is the memory data register and the memory address register. Okay, so these are the two registers normally used. If you have already studied the processor design, these words are familiar to you. Any address I want to read is put in MAR. Data which comes in or goes from the memory is put in the MDR. Now these have to be interfaced with the RAM through a controller. So I am putting a controller here. So that's the popular memory controller which you are all aware of. So what should this controller do? Our today's task is, I'll just make a list here. List of tasks to do. Do a reading of RAM, then increment the data, and then do a write to the RAM. Simple. Okay, this is all we have to do. When you do read from the RAM, the controller will send the read signal. So it will appropriately speak with the RAM. And when the RAM sends the data, it should come in the MDR. And the MAR need not directly talk with the controller. I mean, it will be controlled, but there's no connection. The MAR is the address bus, connected to the address bus, and the RAM's output is connected directly to the MDR, that is the data bus. Okay, so RAM is connected to the MDR, MAR is connected to the address, and the controller has to now sequentially do these tasks written in the green color. First, it has to read the RAM. So for doing this, it has to appropriately send the signals to the RAM module. So in the previous slide here, the RAM module is designed, and to read the RAM, what will you do? You have to give the appropriate address. Then the chip select has to be done, and the output enable has to be activated. So once you do these three, the RAM read operation can be done. So you have to enable these signals to allow the read operation. Once you do these three signals, the data will come on the data bus. So that data bus data has to now enter into the MDR. So MDR has to be enabled. So we need to send a write enable signal to the MDR. The controller will say, because the connection with the data bus is already there. MDR is already connected to the data bus. You just have to tell the MDR, which is a register, that write the data. So the data will get written into this. The reverse happens when you are going to send the data to the RAM. So here you have to say a read enable. Correct? So a read enable signal will be sent eventually to MDR. When read enable reaches MDR, it sends the contents onto the data bus, and that data bus contents enter the RAM module. Okay, so writing to MDR brings data from the RAM. Reading enables, so read enabled MDR puts the data onto the data bus, which then enters into the RAM, and all these happen at the given address on the MAR. Okay, and every time once you finish one reading into and for writing to the RAM, you have to go to the next location. So the MAR has to be incremented. So the controller also tries to do this. So it just sends an increment signal to the MAR to do the incrementing. Okay, because we have to go to the next location. And in our step number 2, see the high level steps which I have written in the right corner, the increment data is also happening. So for that increment data, step 2, we also need the MDR to have an additional control signal going from the controller called the increment. Right? I hope this is all clear. Okay, so that's the high level picture of what we are trying to do. And for this, how do you now go about doing that? So designing the RAM module is very simple. In the previous slide, we have seen that design. So you make that one module. Then the second part of the assignment is you have to design this memory controller. We can't call it controller. We'll just say a read-write assignment. So read-write RAM is the name of the module, because we are not doing many features. We are just going to do a read and write. Okay, so in that module, you have to do all this in sequence. So there is some logical sequence in working of this, right? Step 1 is to read, step 2 increment data, step 3 is writing this incremented data to the same location in the RAM, and step 4 is go to the next location and repeat the process, right? So when there is the sequence, you have to develop the state machine, that is the algorithmic state machine. Okay, so you, similar to the ASM chart we did in the previous assignment, here you will have to come up with a chart where in the first state of the ASM chart, what will you do? You will do the enabling of the RAM, resetting MDR, or MAR, making it all 0 so that it starts reading from the 0th location, and so on. So this you can do in state 0. Okay, or you can also use an initial statement in the Verilog and say that MAR is 0 from the beginning, and you can also try to read RAM in the first state itself. So it depends how bigger an ASM chart you want to draw. If you want to restrict your number of steps, then you have to do it really optimally. Right. So you do the initialization in one step. Then in the next state, you send a reading signal to the RAM. Address is already there. Send a read signal to RAM. The data would come on the data bus, and then you have to send a write signal to MDR, where MDR just copies that data from the bus. So this is step 1 done. Read RAM is completed. So this happens in another state of the ASM chart. Then in the subsequent, the third state, you do the increment operation on the data. So MDR plus plus happens in a subsequent step. Once this is done, you have to copy the contents of MDR to the RAM. So for this, you have to send the read enable to MDR and the write enable to the RAM, so that MDR is read and RAM gets written. Okay, so this all happens in one clock cycle. A state after that, the MAR has to be incremented because you have to go sequentially into the next location of the RAM. So another state to do MAR plus plus. You can also try doing MAR plus plus while doing the writing to RAM. So in the green color, the 3 which I have written, write to the RAM. So here the address is being used, and the MAR would actually get incremented in the next clock cycle. So you might as well during the step 3. During write to RAM, you can also do MAR plus plus. Okay, so you can try that out. So with this, your number of states reduce in the ASM. And once all these steps are done, what should you do? Check whether all the RAM addresses have exhausted. So if your RAM has got 16 locations, you can just take 16 for the time being, and then 4 bit of data. Once it works, you can expand it to bigger ones. Okay, then RAM plus MAR plus 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 plus, this goes up to 0 to 15, and when it goes to 15, you have to stop this operation. And then you can initialize using initial statements. You can initialize the RAM with all zeros, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, and end of your test cases, you can check whether each location is incremented by 1. Okay, so that is today's assignment. Just to show you once more here, the RAM module is fairly straightforward. It would take 10-15 minutes to design this. I have already shown you this. If some of you want to write down this information, you can do so, what has to be done, or maybe I can put a picture of these 2 slides in the chat box. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll put this, the green one is one module, and in the blue part here, you have to use that module. So RAM on the right hand side is the module from the previous slide, and you have to write the ASM chart and design the controller. Okay, so that's today's work. It's just 2:30, so I think we should be all done in next 2 hours maximum. So 4:30 to 5:30 or maximum 6 will be the evaluation. So if you are done by 4:30, it is very good. But beyond 6, no student will be evaluated, and so they won't be even evaluated tomorrow. So 6 p.m. exactly, the TA will close the meetings, and they will start evaluation 4:30 onwards. But if you are done at by 3:34, you can put a message in your channel and get it evaluated. All right, you can put chat messages in your channels or in the general channel if you have any doubts. We are there available online, but the actual evaluation will start from 4:30. Okay, so we'll stop here. I will try to put this information in the general chat box. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.